Hello and welcome to Interfaith Dialogue, where we discuss the role of faith in the community. I'm Omar, and today we have Kevin Moore from the Regent Park Community Ministry. Nice to meet you, Kevin.
Nice to be here. Thank you, Omar.
How would you explain your experience in reaching out to the community?
Well, I've only been here about a year, and we've only been really having community services for just under a year, and we've done a variety of things to connect with our community. We do worship services a couple of times a month at 40 Oak Street. We also do a couple of coffee and discussion groups a month at the Red Line Coffee Shop at Queen and Parliament, where we have someone come in and tell a little bit about their faith journey, and then we have time for questions and dialogue. We've heard from Christian people, Muslim people, Buddhist people, Hindus, so we really try and engage different people in those conversations. We're also have done some outdoor services throughout the summer. We actually took church out onto the front lawn at 40 Oak Street, and also through some other things I think we're going to talk about in a few minutes, like the Faith in Regent Park event. We're really trying to engage the wider community as much as we can.
Do you use any sort of social media or anything to reach out to those
Yep.
youth or the rest of the community?
We do. We have a Facebook group that has, I think, about 110 people that belong to it, and we communicate through our Facebook group quite regularly. We also have a Twitter account. I'm not as good on Twitter as perhaps I could be or should be. I need somebody young to take that over for me, but certainly we are using social media a lot. We don't have a web page. We use our Facebook group as our web presence right now, and that seems to be an effective communication tool for us.
So to what degree does your community engage with the United Church and such?
Well, I am directly responsible to the United Church of Canada in my role here, and we are part of what the larger church is doing. So our relationship with the larger church, with the other congregations around us, and with the head office, so to speak, is really important for us. We try to be a reflection of the community, but we also try and represent the United Church in the community.
And what is your opinion on the sort of generational gap that's been very much discussed lately with the youth? And
it's interesting because I think most faith groups are really struggling with how to keep youth engaged. I talk to people from a variety of backgrounds who say much the same thing. When kids are in school and facing peer pressure and all the social media stuff that's coming at them and everything else, there's a bit of a tendency to be less interested in their faith. So I think it's a great challenge for any faith community to keep youth plugged in and connected. I've always found with youth in particular, or with anyone, if you take the time to get to know them, then a lot of those barriers tend to disappear.
Speaking of new barriers and such, is there anybody in your church that's openly gay?
There is, and the United Church of Canada was a pioneer in this country. 25 years ago, back in 1988, the United Church of Canada was the first church to ordain openly gay ministers, and so we really pride ourselves on being an inclusive church. We're not perfect like any other faith group. We have our challenges, but certainly one of the things that drew me to the United Church was its stance on people of same-sex orientation. And we are very welcoming in our faith community of people regardless of their sexual orientation or anything else for that matter. So.
Awesome. More about your work. How was Faith in Regent Park formed?
Well, Faith in Regent Park is an interfaith group that we brought some people together late spring of this year and started to plan for an interfaith event that happened on November 2nd. And what we have really tried to do is engage people from a variety of faith communities to come together and talk about things that are important to all of us. Things like engaging our youth that we talked about. Things like how do we build community? How do we promote economic development in our community? Looking at gender roles, looking at a variety of things that people in all the faith communities are really trying to come to terms with. And what's been really amazing is we've found that we have so much in common. Even though we might express our faith differently, there's so much that we share, and it's been exciting to be part of that process. And the event on November 2nd was a good start, but now the work really begins as we continue to build relationships across those, the faith spectrum and across those divergent communities. So.
Thank you, Kevin,
Thank
for
you, Omar.
taking your time to be here and
My
talking with
pleasure.
us today. And thank you for tuning in to Interfaith Dialogue. Tune in next week on Regent Park TV.